and don't compare yourself to anyone else. Compare your life to anyone else. Don't do it, especially someone you see on social media. Have you ever looked at your bank account by the end of the month and thought, actually, where did all my money go? Well, you're not alone, because that's a problem a lot of people are actually facing, and they're stuck in this bad cycle of financial habits. This is because millions of us are actually stuck in this cycle of bad financial habits without even realizing it. And these habits may be the very reason you're struggling to actually get ahead or even stay afloat. But you can actually break free from these habits. But first of all, you have to recognize that what these habits are, and secondly, come up with a solution as to how you can stop the habits. We're living paycheck to paycheck. This is one of the biggest traps that people actually fall into. You work hard, you get paid, and before you know it, your entire paycheck is actually gone, either to bills, debts, or impulse spending. So we may know that living paycheck to paycheck is actually no fun, because by the end of the month, you're left with nothing else. So one of the things you can do is, first of all, you can actually start by reviewing your outgoings, your expenses, and also review what's coming in. So basically your income and outgoings, and see where you can make cutbacks here and there. And of course, the bills are essential, so you assign a certain amount to your bills, and what's left is you can say, okay, that's where you can make cutbacks. Do I really need that subscription? Do I really need to make this impulse buy, or is this a purchase of necessity? So a good solution to this is actually to automate a percentage of your income to a savings account. So how you can go about doing this is basically, let's say you make X amount, say you're gonna put this small percentage of your income directly into a savings automatically. So the minute the money drops in your account from payday, that money, or a percentage of that money, leaves your account, goes straight into a savings. That way you don't see anything and you're not tempted to spend the money. Impulse spending, you know that rush when you click add to cart? Yeah, that's impulse spending at work. So basically when you see something and you think, you know what, I have to have this now. There's money for it, let me just go ahead and buy it. And then later on you figure out that you actually didn't really need that, or find it laying around after you've gotten over the high of purchasing it. So one of the ways to avoid impulse spending is, let's say you're shopping online and there's something that you must have there and there, add it to your basket, but don't go to checkout or anything like that just yet. Give yourself maybe 24 hours or sleep on it, or give yourself 48 hours to think about it or reflect, or even just do something else. Take your mind off that, and then when you come back to it, then you decide whether you actually still need that, or was that just in the moment type of thing. And what you often find is that you actually didn't really need it in the first place, so you end up just removing it from your basket or just leaving it there. Relying on credit cards are actually a double-edged sword. They are very convenient, but they're also a trap if you're not careful. The average credit card interest rate is over 20%, which means even small balances can turn into massive amounts of debt over time. So I had a friend that once told me debt is debt, but really when it comes to credit cards, debt isn't actually debt, because a lot of credit cards, like I mentioned, they're 20% interest rate. But with credit cards, there's two things you actually need to bear in mind. So the first one is, if you're late making the payments, or if you don't make the payments, that debt could really avalanche into something massive. And the second thing is that credit cards, if you're not careful or if you're not managing them properly, can adversely affect your credit score. And don't compare yourself to anyone else. Compare your life to anyone else. Don't do it, especially someone you see on social media, which could then prevent you from getting more debt, or even good debt, such as mortgages, or if you basically want to invest in property, you can't take a loan because your credit score is bad. However, if you must get a credit card, because actually credit cards are not bad if you can manage them well, but if you must get a credit card, the best advice I can give is start with a low limit credit card, something like a couple of £100 that you can manage. So if you spend something, you know that by the end of the month, or by the time you have to pay back, you're able to cover the full amount. Because if you pay, they'll often tempt you into saying, oh, you just pay a little amount each month, but knowing that the difference, the one that you haven't paid back, that's accruing interest. So I would always advise to pay the full amount. Not budgeting. So budgeting isn't actually about restriction, it's about freedom. Without a budget, you're basically going in blind and plodding along. and that's how money can really run away from you. But if you're actually new to budgeting, then you can really start simple. Use the 50-30-20 rule. So 50% for needs, 30% for wants, and 20% for savings or debt repayment. However, you can actually tailor this rule to your situation. So it could be 50% for investments, 30% for bills, etc. But the point of this is that you're allocating a certain amount of your paycheck to something, whether it's your bills, whether it's your investment, whether it's your just saving for an emergency fund or a rainy day. And the good thing about that is it gives you peace of mind because you know where each of your money is going. Yeah, it might not sound great or fun to do, to allocate your money, but at the end of the day, it's a responsible thing to do, and you always know where your money is going, how much of your money is going somewhere, and each penny is actually accounted for. Keeping up with the Joneses. Social media makes this habit even worse. You see someone posting about a new car, designer bag, or exotic vacation, and suddenly you feel like you're falling behind. Basically, you're not keeping up. And this keeping up with the Joneses one is actually a good one because it's potentially dangerous. You look at people, especially on social media, and you really want to follow them, you're influenced by them, you think, you know what, their lifestyle is amazing, I want that lifestyle, and I've got a story for you in a minute, but you think, I want that lifestyle, I'm gonna do what they're doing and make it by any means. Now the story is, there's this person or this couple on TikTok that I kept seeing coming up, and I was like, rah, they lived in Dubai and they had a G-Wagon, Mercedes G-Wagon. You should check out if you haven't seen the car, it's sweet. But they had this G-Wagon, and every video that they were posting or every video that was coming up of my FYP was them coming out of the Dubai mall with Hermes, with Gucci, with all sorts of Rolex bags, all these bags, right, to the moon. They could barely even fit all the bags into the car. And I was thinking, you know what, that's actually pretty cool. They look successful and all that. But looking at the comments, everyone's like, what is it you do? I wish I was you. All this stuff. They were really influenced by what they were doing because what they were seeing was the lifestyle. But as it turns out, recently, allegedly, the couple have been involved in some kind of scam to do with finances and all that. But anyway, some kind of scam. They've been scamming a lot of people out of their own money, and they're being chased by the authorities and stuff like that. And they basically had to flee. You know, like I don't know what they're doing, but I'm guessing they're on the run. But the point is, all that was a facade, right? None of that was real. But you look at that on social media and you think, oh my God, you compare your life to their life and think that you're not getting anywhere, you know, in this race, this life race that we're all in, or this life journey that we're all in. You think your journey is rubbish, or you're way behind, or wherever. You feel bad about yourself, but really you don't know that you're actually just being scammed. None of that is real. So stay in your own lane, realize or recognize what it is you're trying to achieve, and go by it. There's nothing wrong with going at a slow pace, going at your own pace, because you don't have to keep up with anyone else. And don't compare yourself to anyone else. Compare your life to anyone else. Don't do it, especially someone you see on social media. So guys, those are some of the common habits that a lot of people experience, and I hope these tips actually help you or resonate with yourself. If you're struggling with any of those habits, then definitely employ some of these tips. I believe they will help you. And also just remember that ultimately everyone is on their own journey, everyone's in their own lane. So stay in your lane, and also be mindful of your spending, your journey, and remember, budget. You know where every penny is going, and make sure every penny is accounted for. So I hope you enjoyed this video, and if it resonated with you, or if you're employing any of these habits or employing any of these strategies to avoid the habits, then let us know in the comments below. I'd like to know or hear of your thoughts. And also, if you're new to the video, or if you haven't done so already, make sure you subscribe, hit that notification bell, because there's going to be a lot more videos like this coming your way. Thanks for watching, guys. I'll see you in the next one.